As we've been hearing, it's emerged that there could be more buildings with potentially dangerous cladding than previously thought. The National Audit Office says thousands of tower blocks haven't been identified and put forward for repair schemes. The government says it's formulating a plan to speed up cladding removal, but for many residents, the anxious wait goes on, as one Londoner has been telling our reporter, Lakshmi Gopal.
So all along here, my neighbouring flats are having their fire safety issues fixed, whether that's cladding or other issues.
Gemma's flat in East London is among the high numbers of high-rises coated in scaffolding. Her home, like so many others, still in the process of sorting out issues 7 years after the Grenfell fire tragedy.
In the wake of Grenfell, we understood that there weren't any issues with our building, and in 2019 I tried to sell my flat and it became slowly apparent that there were potential issues, and a fire safety report was conducted. Very abruptly overnight in December 2020, a wake-in watch was installed and panic ensued amongst the leaseholders. How are we going to pay for these remediations?
How much out of pocket are you as a result of all this?
Well, in respect of the additional charges for the wake-in watch and the building insurance, probably tens of thousands of pounds. And in terms of the money that's been wiped off the value of my flat, I would say it's about 25%.
Gemma says she's struggling to sell her home while the development company is yet to agree which work it pays for. The company says it's waiting on agreement of the work needed.
I feel really upset that government after government is not tackling this issue, and we are effectively becoming a lost generation of people who can't move on and are stuck when we really shouldn't be stuck.
The Building Safety Minister says the government is committed to its investment of £5.1 billion to remove dangerous cladding and to make sure those responsible pay for the rest, and adds that the government is empowering regulators to take action against building owners who fail to act. Meanwhile, for countless Londoners, life in limbo continues. Lakshmi Gopal, BBC London.
Well, Aisha Baksh has been following this story. Hi, Aisha. One Londoner's experience there. Do we have a sense now of the scale of how the capital is affected?
Well, there's many Londoners and beyond are affected by this. And sadly, it took the Grenfell Tower tragedy to show that flammable cladding was allowed to be put on residential buildings. The public inquiry concluded that it was the cladding that was the principal reason why the fire spread so rapidly. Overnight, you may remember, similar cladding was identified and removed. But 7 years on, the Audit Office have said that the buildings who may have cladding are yet to be officially identified. So there are potentially thousands more people out there who are affected by this. Cladding campaigners have told me, though, that London is one of the areas that most concern them. And I spoke to London Fire Brigade about this because, of course, this is an issue that they need to really know about. And the figures they are working to are as follows, Riz. In London, the LFB have told me that 1,295 buildings are at risk and 184 of those have ACM cladding-related issues. And ACM was, of course, the cladding that was used on Grenfell. Now, the cladding is being removed. The Audit Office are very keen to stress this, but the remediation work is considered to be far too slow. We saw in Dagenham, didn't we, the week of the Grenfell fire publication, a horrendous fire where the scaffolding was up because the cladding was coming down. Sadly, though, the issue has proved for last government and potentially for this government not cheap and complex. Who should pay for it? Leaseholders have proved that they have shown, that the properties that they bought they didn't know the cladding was on it, and they have potentially been charged for the removal and the wake-in watch. They want to see action and promises made by this government.
But it's actually people's homes. It's people living in an unsafe home. Either they don't know if they're safe or not, or they know they're unsafe and they don't know when it's going to be fixed. And that is the thing that you're trapped, essentially, whether it's financially, you can talk about that, but it's emotionally, it's your life choices. You can't really move on with your lives. You can't really sell. Insurance costs are huge, and you just sat there waiting to understand when your home will be made safe. It's quite depressing, really.
Well, as the previous Conservative government had tried to attempt to make building owners pay for this government have said that in their budget had £5.1 billion set aside for this. Again, cladding campaigners have said this is not new to them. This is money that was already set aside by the last Treasury. There is, according to the DLTLG, a remediation acceleration plan that will be put in place soon. There's also a new building safety minister called Alex Morris. We asked the department for an interview and we were told at this time, sadly, no one is available. We will keep trying. We know this is a big issue for many of our viewers. The NAO, the Audit Office have said that a target date must be set for this work because public money is involved and thousands of buildings are still covered in dangerous cladding.
OK, I know you'll keep across this, Aisha. Thank you very much. Aisha Buxer.